Welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Today we are gonna take another look at Nefer. I already made a showcase about her on the day she came out, but after I uploaded that I wasn't really happy with it. I mean, it wasn't a bad showcase, but there were some things I could have done better. Like, for example, my Aino in that video had the same artifact set as Lorma, which is the new Notcry set, and that doesn't stack. And, I just said, oh, it's fine, I don't really want to rebuild her right now, and went with that. And yeah, because of that, of course, my NEFER'S damage wasn't quite where it could have been, but I have rebuilt my Aino now, and I also have a bit more experience now playing Nefer. So today I just want to revisit her, show what a Z0 Nefer with a free-to-play weapon can really do, and then also try to push her damage as high as I possibly can with the characters that I have. So yeah, let's just go over the build. It hasn't changed since last time, so I'm gonna make this quick. She has over 900 Elemental Mastery. The other stats here don't really matter. I mean, attack does a little bit, but not much. You really just want Elemental Mastery, HP, defense, attack. Not really important. And then the only other thing that matters besides Elemental Mastery is crit. She has 43 to 219, as you can see, but in battle this is actually gonna be 73 crit rate because of the artifact set. The weapon, I already showed it, but I'm gonna show it again. It's the Black Mirror Lantern, the free craftable weapon from Notcry, which is at rank 1. And for the artifacts, I'm using the Notcry set Night of the Skies Unwheeling, which is just pretty much perfect for her, and it gives her a free 30% crit rate, as long as you have Ascendant Gleam, so you need another Notcry character in the team. In this case, that is Aino. But yeah, let's take a look at these artifacts real quick. Again, mostly just crit and elemental mastery, that's what you want to focus on here. Bit of attack can't hurt, but it's not really a priority. Elemental mastery sands, and an elemental mastery goblet as well, and then a crit circlet. Crit damage is usually better because you already get a lot of crit rate from the 4-piece set effect. Constellation is 0 and the talents are at 6, 9 and 9. The most important here by far is the skill. Normal attack doesn't really matter. Burst can do decent damage, so you can level it if you want. But even if you just level the skill, Nefer is still gonna do a lot of damage. And in a lot of rotations, you don't even really use the burst. It's just, one of the characters where if you have the opportunity to use the burst at some point during the battle, then you can do it. And it's not gonna hurt you, but it's also like not really needed. But yeah, anyway, that's my Nefer build, so let's talk about the team now, which you've already seen here. It has Kokomi, Aino, and Lorma here as the supports. Lorma is pretty self-explanatory, she's just Nefer's best support. She buffs bloom damage, including Lunar Bloom, and with the new Notcry set that my Lorma is holding, she also buffs Elemental Mastery for the entire team. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, last time Aino was holding the same set, but it was still worth using Aino because she has pretty good Hydro application, and my Aino is C4, and the C1 especially is really useful for Nefer because it buffs the whole team's Elemental Mastery. But this time I have rebuilt my Aino to not hold the Notcry set anymore, but instead she's now on Deepwood Memories, because I found out that I actually had a bunch of Deepwood artifacts that no one was using just lying around, I guess left over from back when I was farming for Lumine and Shinobu. And yeah, during my last showcase I just wasn't aware that I still had that many unused Deepwood artifacts. So yeah, I basically just went for energy recharge because that's the only thing that Aino really cares about. Yeah, I went for elemental mastery though on the sands because I already had enough energy recharge from the substats. So in that case you can go for a bit of damage, so hydro damage because I had an onset one, and crit rate here. And as you can see, I currently have the artifacts filtered for the instructor set because I'm actually kind of trying to also get a decent instructor build for Aino. But so far, the artifacts I have aren't really great. But instructor is a more generalist set that you can also use, for example, in Lunar Charge teams, if you're Flint or Nefer. And last time the highest numbers we got from this team were like 70k damage, around that, if I remember correctly. And I even managed to push it to 96k damage at one point, but that was with my C2 Nilou. She's actually C6, but the C2 is the important one for Nefer, if you want to use Nilou as a support for her. But yeah, let's just go and see now how much Nefer is doing with a Aino that is actually built to support her. And I'm gonna start this showcase with Masanori here in Inazuma, but last time he turned out to not be nearly tanky enough for Nefer, so we are probably gonna have to go to a different boss later. But yeah, let's just see what we can do here. And yeah, the basic rotation is basically just We want to apply some Hydro and Dendro to get the Verdant Dew, which we already have the max of, so let's just unleash now. And then we do massive damage. Yeah, 91k there. 91 again. Yeah, okay, so, like I said before, it was like 70k damage, I think like 75 I even got last time, but now we are seeing over 90k without even needing C2 Nilou for that. So that is already definitely an improvement, so we can see that putting Aino on Deepwood Memory definitely has an effect on this team's damage, specifically NEFER'S damage. Okay, so that was the full team, but I also want to know how much damage is Nefer actually gonna do if I just use Aino here. No Kokomi, no Lorma. I mean, Kokomi doesn't really do much here anyway, except heal. But if I don't use Lorma, just Aino as our support here, how much damage are we getting? Okay, that's, yeah, a lot less, of course. But it's still not that bad, actually. Yeah, we're still getting, okay, almost 50k there. Yeah, actually, that's really not bad. 44k? And he did almost die from that. Let's do this again. Just a few more hits. There we go. Okay, yeah, we consistently got like 30 to 40k and then even some hits that were like 49k damage. So definitely not as high as before, but it was still pretty good. Now the lack of Lorma's buffs might not even be the only reason why the damage was so much lower. It could also be because of the special blooms that Nefer creates. I think it was with this talent. Yeah, the Seeds of Deceit, which are created a lot more consistently, of course, when we use the full team, and they do boost her damage by a bit. So maybe the reason why we saw 50k at the end instead of just 30k was because we finally got all the stacks of this, which took a bit longer to achieve with just one other character. So if we assume that by just using Nefer and Aino we could actually get the max amount of Seeds of Deceit at all times, then she would consistently do 50k damage, even with just this one 4-star character. A 4-star character who, by the way, is really, really easy to build, and everyone gets her for free. And if you manage to get a constellation for her on Flint's banner, then you're golden, because C1 Aino is incredible for Nefer. But even without constellations, Aino works really well here. But yeah, like I said, Masanori is just not tanky enough for this, and last time I wasn't really sure what to do. That was another like flaw in my previous showcase, because usually what I do when Masanori is not enough is I go to Natlan to Kongamato over here, who is a very tanky boss who doesn't have any super annoying mechanics that force you to do specific things or use specific teams. So he's pretty good for showcases. But the problem with Nefer is that Kongamato has a lot of Dendro resistance, so can't really fight him for a Nefer showcase. But I think what I'm gonna do this time is just go over to Liyue to the Primal Geovishap, who is also another very tanky boss who doesn't have any super complicated mechanics. I think he's pretty much the closest to Kongamato in terms of how well he works as a dummy for these showcases. But even the Geovishap just doesn't come close to Kongamato's tankiness. This thing has like 1.2 million HP, Kongamato has 1.6 million. And I checked all the bosses basically, and every single boss is either much less tanky than Kongamato or has some annoying mechanic that just makes them bad for showcases. So yeah, Primal Geovishap, I think, is the best one we can fight here. So let's just go to him and see how fast we can actually kill him with this team. And I'm expecting it to be really fast, because Nefer is actually incredible. I think I named the first showcase Nefer just deletes opponents, and that's really how it is. Now that I've played her for like 2 weeks, I can confirm that my first impression from that showcase was indeed correct. She really just freaking deletes opponents in seconds. Which, you know, kinda expected of a new character, because power creep has gotten worse and worse lately. But yeah, it's still fun to have one of these characters when they're still new and exciting and do tons of damage. But yeah, let's now fight the Primal Geovishap. There we go. Use all the buffs, all the bursts and skills. And now we just unleash. Yeah, lots of damage here. And with just 2 charge attacks, he's already halfway down its HP. And then we just do 2 more. Okay, 3 more. There we go. And he's dead. Already. show this to someone in like, when was this boss released? 1.5, 1.6? I'm not sure. Around that time. Show that to someone back then. Back then, this was the tankiest boss. And now we're just deleting it in seconds. Just like that. Yeah, that's just how it goes. So yeah, same conclusion as in the last showcase. She is incredible. But we knew that already. So what else is there to do in this showcase? Well, I'm not done yet. I still have one more thing that I want to try. And that is simply put Nilou in the team. Now, those of you who've seen the last showcase might say, wait, didn't you already do that? You already showed us how good C2 Nilou is for her. And yeah, I did. But last time I replaced Aino, I think. So I replaced one support with another. Because, you know, my instinct is to always have a healer in the team. But there is also the option to just go Sustainless. So instead of replacing Aino, I can just replace Kokomi with Nilou. And now we have a team with no healer, no shielder. We are gonna die, but the enemies are gonna die as well, for sure. And this, I think, is also gonna push my Nefer to do over 100k damage. And by that I mean 100k damage as the highest number we see, but of course every single charge attack of her is doing 3 big hits. So they have already done 100k, way over 100k the entire time. It's just, you know, it's divided into 3 hits. It's like with the team we had before, it was like 70k, 70k, 90k. They're always like 2 slightly smaller hits and then 1 big one. So yeah, in total that was already like 230k per charge attack, or even more than that maybe. So if you can push all of these damage numbers above 100k or close to 100k, then we're basically gonna have 300k charge attacks. And she can do 3 of them per skill use. So basically 1,000,000 damage per skill that Nefer uses. In theory, let's try it out. But first I have to respawn this boss, which means teleporting far away and then teleporting right back. I love that we can just do that now. Remember the days when we had to wait like, how long was it? 10 minutes for them to respawn? That was such a pain, especially for showcases like this. It's so much nicer nowadays. Oh, and I just realized I should probably heal up before I actually do this. Because we don't have a healer now. So it would be best for everyone to be at full HP before I actually go into this fight. And yeah, just to explain it again real quick, for those of you who haven't seen the previous showcase, the reason why Nilou C2 is so good for Nefer is simply that it shreds Dendro resistance by 35%, which is more than what the Deepwood Memory set does. It shreds by 30%. So yeah, Nilou actually does 5% more than that with this constellation. So if you do have a C2 Nilou, then you can definitely use her with Nefer. It actually works pretty well. Could maybe even put her on Instructor or Deepwood if you really wanted to, if you don't have anyone else holding these sets yet. But yeah, I haven't really changed my Nilou build for this. Just the C2 alone is already enough to boost the damage by a lot. But yeah, let's do this now. Activate Nilou's skill, then I guess we just do this and this and this. Activate everything, and we're getting hit way too much. But how much damage are we getting here? Oh, I didn't see the big number there. 170k? 170k. Yeah, consistently 170k. And he's pretty much already dead. I didn't execute this rotation perfectly, so I'm not sure if we could actually have killed him in one skill. I did have to use a second skill there at the end for the last charge attack. But maybe it's actually possible with just the 3 charge attacks from our first skill use to defeat the Primal Geovishap. So in like, not even a full rotation, but half a rotation. I wanna see if I can do that, so let's try this again. Now, one problem I just realized with the shorter rotation where we kill the enemy so fast is that Lorma didn't actually get her burst back. Which doesn't usually happen, because my Lorma does have a pretty good amount of energy recharge. So yeah, I guess we have to fight some of the enemies on the way to the Geovishap to get some more particles before going for round 2. That really shows you that your team is good if you kill the enemy so fast that you don't even get enough particles back, because you have to use less skills and stuff. Okay, here we go again. Let's do this. First Nilou's skill, then I'm guessing using Lorma's skill first. Aino stuff. Lorma burst. And now we just attack with Nefer. Okay, we didn't get 100k there on the first charge attack. Yeah, it takes a while to like ramp up, so once again we needed a 4th charge attack, we needed to use the skill a 2nd time, so maybe it's not possible. We only got the 117k on the 3rd charge attack, the first 2 were a bit lower, so yeah, I think once again that this is because of the Seeds of Deceit, because yeah, it takes a while for this to ramp up, I guess, at the beginning of the fight. So you're not getting the full damage immediately. But if we had 117k from the beginning, and like the 90ks that the other 2 lower charge attack hits do at the same time, then it would probably be doable. Maybe if I just wait a bit before using the charge attacks. Just, you know, start up the rotation, then use Nefer's skill, then wait a few seconds, and then do it. Maybe then I could do it in 3 charge attacks. I guess it's worth trying out, so let's do this again. Can you tell that I'm having a lot of fun with this? I think this video is gonna turn out a lot better than the previous one. Again, not that the previous one was really bad, but I don't know. I wasn't too happy with it. I felt like I could do better, and this is definitely better. And Nefer is also just a really fun character to play. I think I've already said it several times, but like, she really is. I love her. Anyway, here we go again. 3rd time's the charm. Let's do this. Okay, use the skill, and now we wait a bit, I guess. Ow. And charge attack. Yeah, now I think... Oh, that didn't crit. I think... Yeah, okay. We missed some crits there, which is not nice, but oh well. So I guess we have to try again. Yeah, I mean, as nice as 73% crit rate is, it's obviously not 100%, so occasionally there are gonna be some missed crits. That's just how it is. Okay, this time it's gonna work. Come on. Just do this. And this. And this. And then this. Now we wait a bit. Dodge this, and... Oh yeah, now we get the 117 immediately. Oh, we missed the crit again. Oh, it's definitely possible if you hit all the crits. It's so possible. Okay, let's see. Again, didn't get the 117k on the first charge attack. Let's just finish him off with the burst. Okay, that didn't actually do enough damage. Maybe it's not possible after all. We're getting so close though. Okay, here we go again. Let it ramp up a bit, and now we charge attack. Yeah, we got the 117k on the first one, on the second one, and on the third one. And it still wasn't enough, but it was very close. Is the burst enough to finish him off? Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I don't think we can get any closer than this, because we now got crits on all of the charge attacks. We got 117k on all of them, so all the buffs and all the stacks from Nefer's own passives. I think we had everything there. So yeah, I don't think we can push it any further with this team, and this, I'm pretty sure, is the best team I can do when it comes to buffing Nefer. So not quite enough to defeat the Primal Geovishap with just the 3 charge attacks from one skill use, but then with the burst we were able to finish it off, so we didn't have to use a second skill. So yeah, it still was basically only half a rotation, so I guess goal achieved. But yeah, anyway, this team was fun to try out, but for most battles I would still probably go with Kokomi here, because we need a healer. The Primal Geovishap got pretty close to killing us in some of the runs here. I don't know how many of the runs I'm actually showing in the video, because most of them were pretty much the same. Just me trying to squeeze out a little bit more damage, but I think it was in total like around 7 or 8 runs that I did on the Primal Geovishap. And some of these Nefer was holding on by, by a thread at the end. Was almost dead. Which of course doesn't happen with Kokomi. So yeah, would recommend this team if you have these characters. It works really well. No one is dying here and you're doing a lot of damage. But you know, if you really want to push Nefer's damage and you do have a C2 Nilou, then that's always an option. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this showcase. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please leave a like, comment and subscribe for more Genshin Impact and other gacha content. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.